Are you a Minecraft veteran? Here are 35 facts that only the real OGs will know. Number 1. When dogs were first added, they could attack you even in peaceful mode, so hitting a dog back then was a bad idea. One of the most dangerous glitches of all time happened in beta 1.2. Every now and then, you'd come across a chunk that was completely empty. Was this an actual bug, or was it Notch messing with the players?
I guess we'll never know.
Do you know what the rarest item used to be? Before jungles were added, the only way to get cocoa beans was finding a spawner, which wasn't an easy task. However, cocoa beans themselves weren't the rarest item. That title went to cookies. Drowning used to be super deadly. With every tick of damage, you'd get sucked deeper and deeper, which made escaping nearly impossible. And ships didn't always look like this. At first, they were made from beacons and iron blocks. Talk about OP loot. The beacons were later replaced by pumpkins, which is just the most random thing ever. Only Minecraft veterans will know this, but we're just getting started. This is the fastest way to build a nether portal. However, that's still very slow. 12 years ago, there was a version of Minecraft in which you could spawn a nether portal by merely pressing F4. Honestly, I had no idea that was even a thing. That's why I found someone who knows a lot more about the game than I do. iCraftMC, take it away.
When the Ender Dragon came into the game, it could be killed using snowballs. The fight itself was also totally different. The dragon would literally charge at you during the fight. What if I told you that there are old biomes that have been completely forgotten, such as the rainforest, the shrubland, or the sky biome? If you're new to Minecraft, these biomes might look similar, but if you're an OG, you can tell the difference. The most interesting was the sky biome, which was inspired by the Aether mod, but unfortunately Notch never used it.
And the facts only get better. For instance, did you know that pressing F3 used to be insanely overpowered? In the beta days of Minecraft, using F3 showed the entity number of every single mob around you. Or in other words, it gave you wall hacks. Before fence gates were a thing, players used doors.
But Dadusak, why did you need to fence off your farm?
I'll let the skeleton answer. The funniest part is that doors could only be opened by punching. Hopefully I don't have to say this, but don't try this at home.
Are you a good Minecraft player? Well, back in the day, this used to be measured by how many crafting recipes you could remember. The piston was one of those items that people would test you on, since it's very easy to mess it up.
One of the most ridiculous things about old MC was the walking animation. Notch, what were you thinking, buddy? During this period, some of the mobs also had a very dumb walking animation. However, on the other hand, the Minecraft mobs used to be way smarter. In the version beta 1.8, when little Dadusak started playing the game, all mobs would run away from exploding creepers. Seems like animals back then actually used their brains, unlike the mobs today.
Today we have super fast bubble elevators and elytras, but before those luxuries were a thing, players had to use ladders. The community figured out that you could leave 1 block gaps in between, and the ladder would still work. Believe me, this was well needed, because the crafting recipe used to give you just 1 single ladder for 7 sticks. That's a scam if I've ever seen one.
I bet you didn't know that ponies were once in Minecraft, and this is what they looked like. Now I know what you're thinking.
Dadusak, that's just a retextured pig.
Well, that's because this was part of the 2013 April Fool's update. This was also the first update that had horses, if you wanna call this a horse. If you knew that, good job. But don't worry, the facts only get harder. Since servers weren't as popular in the early years, many players simply used a free cracked launcher, and I'm ashamed to admit, I was one of those players. Notch was losing millions of dollars to pirated Minecraft versions, but he didn't seem to mind. Originally, hoppers were crafted using stone, and their first texture used to look like this. What's weird is that they could also be used as fuel in furnaces. In the next update, the correct texture was applied, or so Mojang thought, because dropping the item showed a totally different texture. Whoever was working on the hopper needs to get fired ASAP.
There was a time in Update 1.3 where defeating the Ender Dragon would grant you a whopping 705 levels. That's because experience didn't scale like it does today. Having so many levels on you has to be super stressful. I mean, if you die, you're gonna lose basically everything.
Bruh.
Some people think that the 1.18 update has the best terrain, but I'm pretty sure those people never played Minecraft in 2010. Alright, there might be less biomes and there aren't any crazy caves. However, the terrain looked spectacular. The Seed Glacier was especially popular back then. Just look at it.
One of the weirdest updates was 1.7.2. It added a new integration into Minecraft, which allowed Twitch chat to have control over the game. Honestly, I'm glad Mojang got rid of this, because having Twitch chat and control of my world sounds like a nightmare. There's a secret biome in Minecraft called the Mountain Edge. In fact, this biome used to generate prior to 1.7, but then this update came. It really was the update that changed the world, as it added a ton of new biomes, new structures, new flowers, stained glass, and much more.
If you feed an animal enough times, it will explode. Now of course that doesn't work today, but it did at one point. In fact, this is the same version that had the cow horses. One of the most interesting and unknown commands is /replace item. Typing this exact line turns you into a unicorn. Using the oak fence will give you a mask. The lead turns you into a detective, and the bone will make you feel like a dog.
Most players don't appreciate the moon enough. It was added all the way back in InDev, and with it came a lot of weird effects. For example, when there's a full moon, the amount of slimes and swamps doubles, making the swamp the most dangerous biome in the game. Spiders also gain the ability to spawn with invisibility during a full moon. However, the moon wasn't always this scary. In fact, it wasn't even in the right place at first.
How do you open the inventory in Minecraft? By pressing E, right? Well, if you're a real OG, your answer might be different. See, back in the day, before you could even change the keybinds, the default button for inventory was I. Imagine if you could customize everything in the game. If you could control the ore generation, the sea level, biomes, structures, and much more. Well, this was once a thing, and it was called the customized world type. And the presets it came with were just breathtaking. Glitches are super fun, but at one point players kinda needed them. See, back then there was no allow cheats button. If you wanted to cheat, you had to get creative. Some of my favorite tricks include the nether portal crafting tube, the sign above build height glitch, and of course the infinite blocks piston machine.
Finding a mansion is hard, but it is nowhere near as hard as finding a dungeon in 2011. In those days, spawners were incredibly rare, so finding one was the best feeling ever. The most exciting were the dungeons that generated on the surface. This had an even lower chance of happening, but at the same time they were much easier to find.
It's no secret that Minecraft's music is a masterpiece. The composer, C418, even included a little Easter egg in the first 3 songs. If you listen carefully, you might notice that they are actually connected. I have no idea how I didn't notice this earlier. My entire childhood is a lie.
Creepers used to be way more creepy. In alpha and beta, creepers would stare at you when you were inside of your house, but in other ways they were kinda dumb. For example, they basically forgot about you once there were some blocks in the way. During this time, creepers also received a huge buff, where they would insta-kill you even if you were 5 blocks away from them.
This is how a double chest looks today, and this is how it looked 12 years ago.
But Dadusak, they look almost the same.
That's not the point. The real difference is what's next to the chests. See, back then, you couldn't place 2 double chests next to each other. Now why is that? Well, it was Notch's solution to the triple chest problem, since at the time, it was actually possible to create triple chests in Minecraft. If you're a new player, then you have no idea how hard the game used to be. Back then, just surviving the first night was a hard task. We didn't have shields, we didn't have totems, sprinting wasn't a thing, enchanting was insanely expensive. I think you get the point. It's just too easy nowadays. We've talked about wolves that can kill you in peaceful mode, but what's even more ridiculous is that in beta, all hostile mobs would attack you even if you played in creative. This was especially annoying with creepers, as they would keep exploding everywhere. What is the most cursed block in the game? Some might say it's the piston, others will say it's water. But when Minecraft was starting, one of the most cursed blocks were stairs. Compared to today, walking on stairs was slow and clunky. Destroying them gave you one single plank. And to top it all off, the inventory texture was straight up weird. So, to remember just how broken the stairs used to be, I'm going to be placing 1 block of stairs for every subscriber that this video gets. So subscribe now to claim your block, and let's see how long this line gets. The 404 challenge is the hardest Minecraft challenge from the beta days. This was the way to show how skilled you were at the craft.
But Dadusak, what made the challenge so hard?
Let me show you. First, create a world with the seed 404. Once you spawned in, you have until nightfall to gather as many resources as possible. When the sun starts going down, go to this gravel patch and dig down. This reveals a scary dark hole full of dangerous mobs. Once you went inside, you could never go back. There was only one goal: survive as long as possible. Now, of course, this challenge was a breeze for a player like me. I could live here forever.